I just got brutally interrupted on the previous video I was making, or on this week recap that I'm making right now. But luckily it was only on the first day, so I'm just gonna go ahead and restart. Got a fresh mind for this, so I'm not gonna be, complete dummy. But yeah, basically just gonna be reviewing first week of February, week two through not week two, my bad. I'm so stupid. February 2nd to the 6th. So this is the first week of February in 2026, and yeah, gonna get into the week recap. So basically, looking on this time frame before market opens, right? We just look like we're in a really bullish structure here. We're inversing all these gaps, these bearish gaps here, bearish gap here, bearish gaps here. We inverse this hourly right there before market open. And in terms of rejection levels, we don't really have much on the 4 hour. We're not really rejecting out of anything. We kind of edge this 4 hour where my cursor is right here, right? We edge that 4 hour just by a couple ticks. That would have been more of a retest, but so that's fine. But we are rejecting out of an hourly, a huge hourly right here, so that's great. No, not really much SMTs or anything, right? We look relatively the exact same on ES as we do in Q, so it's really not much. We do have some high time frame draws up here, some higher time frame low resistance, right? But I mean, let's see how much we're expanded to the upside here. Already 300 points up. I doubt that we're going to come all the way the freak up here. Another 400 points to this high. So the next targets I can kind of see getting hit. I mean, we do have a bit of low resistance here. We have Asia high. That's about it. We do have this untapped 15-minute, but it looks like it got tapped like just barely. So it's not really even mitigated anymore. I don't like how the 15-minute structure was acting recently. We just inverse this gap to the downside here and then inverse back up. Same thing here. We inverse this gap to the downside and then inverse back up. So it's not really making sense. It's a really big key in determining if price is going to be good or not. Just seeing how conditions are behaving, right? So in terms of structure, what I like to look at, the first thing I look at whenever I'm hopping on the charts, right, is what the session highs and session lows look like. And I think there's actually a good example of that this week. But yeah, instead of talking about that right now, I'll just wait to talk about that later. But the only thing I can really see happening is there's really no key targets to aim for except for this Asia high. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this. This previous day Asia high, actually, to be more specific. And I mean, yeah, that's about it. Like I said, we inverse this hourly right here. We have this untapped hourly all the way down here, so I'm not really expecting a deep retrace. But I did really kind of just want to see us, I don't know, take some of this liquidity out. Maybe tapping the hourly wouldn't have been that bad. That actually looks pretty good now that I'm looking at it with this little example here. That would have been our A plus scenario. I'm not expecting shorts. There's really no good rejection level out here. We don't have any 4 hours to the upside or anything. It's just, yeah, enough yapping about that. I'm just going to go ahead and play out what price did. And we'll see for ourselves. So we actually have a huge, crazy opener here. 80-point candle to the upside. And we, of course, take out Asia without an entry. The only thing I can look for is a continuation model, and I doubt we're getting that. I mean, we're so deep in premium up here. In order to take a decent sized continuation, I would have to see us come down to this gap down here and maybe get a continuation back to the upside. But like I said, there's not really much targets. I'm not expecting price to run all through these highs right there, or finish up this. I mean, it's possible, it's not impossible, right? But I'm really just not expecting it. We're just massively overextended. So honestly, after this gets taken out of market open, just going back to bed right after this seems the most reasonable, right? But we do get an entry model here, and it's actually really interesting because if you look at this, like I said, we're massively overextended, so some little retrace like this is not going to pique my interest. I want to see a deeper retrace like right here, maybe even down here. So this, like I said, it's way too in premium. I'm not looking to take this, but I don't know, this is very weird in my opinion. So not only that, but the 1 minute looks really ugly. I don't like it. We do have a clear for value gap here. I just don't like how the structure looks, okay? It does not look good to me at all. But this is actually where it gets interesting. We have 10 a.m. news drop, right? I actually forgot to show that before. We have 10 a.m. red folder, ISM manufacturing PMI. Gets dropped. We make a huge data wick up here. almost 50 points, and we make not exact equal highs, but we make relatively equal highs. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can call these equal highs, right? Just go ahead and call those equal highs. So that's a great target. That's a very, very, very great target. Let's actually look at ES too, because I forgot to look at that. So see, this isn't bad. I don't like how we inverse this gap here. This is not a really good sign. Inverse the gap here, but we did tap into this slightly more discounted gap. Definitely not a gap in discount, but it's just a little bit more discounted. So that leaves us with an SMT on NQ. Well, not really, because this gap was at 940. Well, this gap was at 945. 945. So we don't have much of an SMT. We do have an SMT at the 945 low, but there's no fair value gap here on NQ to have an SMT at. But we do get this 1 minute IFEG to the upside. Oh, and then at this point in time is where we make the equal highs. So now we actually have equal highs, not just relatively equal highs. And this is a pretty good entry in my opinion. Yes, there was a 2 minute. The 2 minute would have invalidated this trade because the break-even point got hit. So taking it on the 1 minute is just most reasonable. If we did take this on the 1 minute, I saw this, was contemplating on taking it, and just didn't end up taking it. I don't know who I saw take this on Instagram, but I mean, what are you really even targeting at this point besides like a 1-to-1? Let me see. We already took these highs out here. I mean, I guess the next target you can aim for is up here, or like right there. This one's way too high up, but these targets I think already got hit. Yeah. I mean, maybe just aiming for a 1-to-1 would make sense. And up here, I'm sure this gets hit. I actually don't know. I wonder if that final target gets hit up there. Yeah, it doesn't look like it does. But this trade, like, what would I rate this? It was a continuation model. It aligned with bias and everything. We did have higher time frame draws, although I didn't really like them as much as because we didn't have any fair value gaps up here. It's just lots and lots of low resistance. Not a deep retrace at all. There's absolutely no equilibrium getting hit. Oh, this is exactly what I wanted to see though. I just remembered about this after zooming out. So we had low resistance right here. Great low resistance, right? What I wanted to see, an ideal key scenario would be, I think at the end of this was a 15 minute. Let me see. A 15 minute right there. We have a 5 minute down here as well. So the absolute key scenario that I wanted to see happen was price retrace down here, take out all this. I'm going to use this right here. I want to see this 15 minute get tapped, the 5 minute get tapped, taking out all this low resistance, and then get entries to the upside, targeting this recent high. That would have been A+, and I would have definitely taken that. But unfortunately, that did not happen. This was a winning trade, of course. Well, let me see. Yeah, it was a winning trade. Didn't hit break even. Honestly, in my opinion, going for 1-to-1 here makes the most amount of sense. Great setup. Like I said, my A+ scenario didn't happen, so I stayed out. Now, enough yapping about this trade. Let's move on to the next. Well, actually, we have a lot more. Let me see. Because this was all the way in right when the 10 a.m. opened. So let's see if we got anything else. So we did, once again, let's rate these setups if, of course, we get them. I don't know if we got any setups here. Okay, we tap into a 5 and a 15 minute. We still have this high up here available. Let's see what happens on ES. So ES already takes all these draws and liquidity out. So there's an SMT there. Not expecting price to continue to run up. I'm not expecting anything at this point in time. Anything could happen. I'm not doubting that. Just conditions are just not in my everything's already played out. So there's really nothing to look forward to here. So if we get a model, let's see, 2 minute right there. Oh, we got a 4 minute as well. This 4 minute didn't see an ounce of profit. Oh my goodness. That shit went straight to stop loss. But we do have a 2 minute. Let's see what this is about. Let's see what this shit's hitting for. 2 minute right there. And I'll stop at this recent low targets here. Again, these trades aren't valid. I'm just like seeing how these play out. Of course, these are trades I would never take. Completely failed. Yeah, that's that 15-minute. Let's see what happened here. We probably got an entry. We tapped into this 5-minute down here. It's more discounted, right? Shit, man, this is making my head hurt just looking at this. This looks so unideal. This one does end up delivering a bit, but doesn't. Okay, it does come all the way up here and then finally hit that high. Yeah, there's really nothing else to take here. Yes, we might get entries at this point in time, but you got to remember we're so deep in premium that anything up here is just super risky and unvalid in my opinion. Now on to the next day. I actually spent quite a lot of time reviewing that, even though there wasn't any trades for me to take on that day. So let's try to pick up the pace on here because I got shit to do. All right, Tuesday we actually have a loss. All right, this was a pretty good loss in my opinion. Was just completely wrong about the bias on this day, so not too much to complain about. It's just, you know, one of those days. So immediately I see that we're in we like this. I thought yes, the previous days, what's it called? No, this was the previous day. No, I'm so stupid to scratch that. This is a continuation from the previous day's up move. Right now we are currently up, what, 850 points. That's insane. We fell very short of this target up here, so that looks like it could be a key DOL. 4 hour we have really nothing much. Daily we don't really have anything up there either. Hourly, yeah, so it's just this internal high up here on the very high time frame, very high time frame. We have an SMT technically, but ES has all-time highs up here, so I'm expecting us to continue to be bullish here. We have lots of key levels down here. Of course, it's going to show that it already got hit because it's trading views. Replay mode is really ass. But we have 4 hour here. We have a 4 hour there. On the hourly, we have a very tiny 1 hour here. So we have really good DOLs to the downside. So honestly, this can play either way. I'm going to give my two key scenarios. Let me go down to the 15-minute for the final blow. So this kind of confirms our, well, let me get the scenarios out first. We have London high. Then we have Asia low. So scenario number one, which is not really what I really want to see. I don't want to take anything if we get this. Like if we come up here, and I wouldn't take a reverse off here, targeting here. I would wait for continuation. So I'd wait for like a 5 or 15-minute inverse here, wait for a retrace, and then take continuations lower. You know what I mean? That's one of the scenarios I'm looking out for, our bearish scenario. But our bullish scenario, which was my number one scenario that I really wanted to see happen, was us come down. I want to see us take out this, not necessarily all of this, but, you know, as long as we hit this 4 hour and 1 hour, I was fine with that. And then I'll look for a reversal here just because this target is so strong in my opinion. Or what I feel like what could have been better, what could have helped me avoid this, is if I waited for a higher time frame inverse and then take a continuation model to the upside around here. That would have definitely saved me from a loss, which I need to start looking more into my journal to avoid these types of losses on these reversal models, right? Let's see. So that's pretty much what happens, right? And just play this out in the 15-minute. So the 15-minute, huge death candle here. Really not giving any entries at Asia high. I would be open depending on how good the delivery and inverse is to take a long, but I really want to see these levels get hit before we go long. We actually end up hitting every single level if we go on the 15-minute. And then look at ES. We have an SMT at that hourly or that 4 hour. So we have an SMT with ES. I'm looking for longs, right? We have a 1 minute right there, very clean 1 minute. The highest time frame is the 2 minute. And man, oh man, was this brutal, right? We have, in terms of our targets, I'm not really looking to aim all the way up here. Okay, that's a bit too much to ask for. I feel like anywhere around that 1 to 1.5 to 2 R's good enough for me. Oh my gosh, my dog won't shut the fuck up. It's getting annoying. Just barking at nothing all day. Anyways, this is what our trade looked like. This is our trade idea. Also, another reason why I'm looking, despite us having a huge dump here and looking very, very, very bear. Oh my gosh, very bearish. That was a crazy stutter moment. But even if we were gonna flip bullish, if we were gonna continue bearish, I'm at least expecting price to run up to this 5 minute and then continue shorter. So that's why this is really valid in my opinion. And yeah, also our break-even point. This is pretty key because this has been happening so much. I need to pay attention to this a lot more, which is my break-even points, because dude, this is a very, very close break-even point. It's an untapped 1 minute. I'm not even going all break-even all the way up here or anything like that. Like, it's very, very close. And for some fucking reason, price has been edging the break-even point and then just running straight to stop loss. Here I thought I was safe at this point in time, right? I thought I was completely safe. ES respected the gap. ES actually gave a really good entry model to the upside. If you look at this 2 minute looks really, really nice. We have low resistance up here. Like, come on, man. I don't know how we don't hit this. Low resistance right there. We also had low resistance on NQ as well. It's a bit all the way up here, though. There's that low resistance from market open. But yeah, I thought this gap was going to get inverse and then we could continue up. But no, this shit just completely failed. We didn't give any entries. So once we came down here and this failed, there's really nothing I'm expecting to get hit, right? The only downside, the only thing I could see why this trade did not work, okay, was the fact that we did not hit equilibrium. Okay, as you can see, equilibrium right there has not been hit. So I figured, you know, maybe price wanted to hit equilibrium before running up to that high time frame, drawing liquidity. But at that point in time, if we come all the way down there, I'm really, really doubting that we're gonna get like a long setup here, which we don't. We don't get anything. We don't get any 5 minute taps, any 15-minute taps. Okay, we do get some, I think, later on in the kill zone. But at that point in time, where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Here's that 15-minute tap. There's really nothing to be looking forward to here. Let's actually rate this if we get a setup, though. Let me see what this would be. Let's see. Even if we did get something, like, dude, this is way, 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 way too in premium, right? This is way too in, I mean, not premium, discount. I want to see a retrace up to here or something like that. Price is just really slow and choppy. It's probably like some, not even a 5 minute down there, no 4 minute, no, there's a 3 minute down here. And there's really just nothing. Just does end up playing out to this, like running down a bit, but this ends up getting hit. So if you got shorts, they probably did play out, probably got break even, but this just not, you know, optimal. I mean, look, we're just playing within this range here. Really nothing to look forward to. And so yeah, that's going to end that for Tuesday. One really good loss. After this failed, there's really nothing to look forward to. So yeah, now on to Wednesday. I wonder how Wednesday is going to be because I did not take any trades on Wednesday. Let's see. Alrighty. Okay. This was actually, I remember this now pretty well. Price action sucked in my opinion. I know a lot of people actually caught shorts, which is what I was looking for, but I mean, nothing looked good in my opinion. So we have these two lows here on the higher time frame, relatively equal lows. I think ES has them as well. Not as relatively equal, but yeah, you get the idea. Then we have this final low down here, this low inside of this fair value gap. And let me adjust that. Excuse me. On the higher time frame, if we start with the 4 hour, right? Ignore this big candle there, but we inversed all these gaps here. We're tapped into this gap, so we're not necessarily respecting it at the time. We could still very easily just, you know, run up. But to keep in mind that we inverse these gaps to the downside, that's a really, really big, important little detail there. On the hourly, of course, we inversed all the gaps as well, even this very last one right there. And this is where it gets confusing, right? So the 4 hour looks potentially bearish, okay? Potentially bearish. Not confirmed bearish, potentially. So here we inverse this gap to the upside, right? Well, we haven't inversed it yet at this point in time right there. We come back down, respect this bullish gap, and then we inverse this bearish gap, and then we inverse this bullish gap right here. Or yeah, and then we tap back into this bearish gap, retest it, and then inverse back to the upside, and then we just completely fail. So like, what the fuck is happening here, right? The only gap we have left at this point in time is this gap, and then not only that, this gap gets inversed by like a couple ticks. So like, nothing's really making sense here. I mean, discretional, like off pure discretion, it looks like we're gonna be bearish. We have great targets to the sell side. And you know, we just recently inversed this gap. But I mean, dude, I hate trading when the higher time frame is being on some bullshit like this. Like, why are you inversing gaps left and right on opposing directions? Like, it's not making any sense to me. Now, if we go on the 15-minute, we can see we have London high available. This is important because ES actually takes London high and leaves London low. Meanwhile, NQ leaves London high and takes London low. So this is an SMT, right? But this is also what I was talking about earlier about, like, the first thing I do is look at the 15-minute chart and I see what the session highs and session lows are talking about, what they're trying to tell me. And this right here, just seeing this completely uncorrelated, right? It's like opposite. That's a sign that I'm not going to be trading today, right? But looking at the higher time frame, it makes a bit more sense. We have the SMT and then our draws being lower, but yeah, just not really digging it, not liking it at all. I'm going to go ahead and skip this to market open. Alright, this was actually really stupid. I hated this. Okay, so we inversed this gap here, did we? No, we did not quite inverse this. I want to see this get inverse. This will be my final confirmation that, okay, we're 100% being bearish, which I'm definitely going to need because, I mean, seeing how those higher time frame hourly gaps were just playing with each other and getting inverse left and right, I want to see some major confirmation here that we're going to head lower. Now, what I wanted to see, which was actually open to taking before we got this inverse, I wanted to see us at market open, you know, pull back into this gap here and then get shorts from there. I would be open to take that. But I mean, we inversed it to the upside right before market open. Not only that, we inversed this 5-minute to the upside after market open. So now, what's this telling me? This is telling me, okay, well, potentially what we could do, because we do have an untapped hourly up here, is I can see us running up to this hourly, right? Let me go back to the 5-minute. I can see we just inverse this. Is showing that price looks to be bullish. We're rejecting out of the 15-minute. I can see price, you know, running up to this hourly and then potentially either inversing this hourly, heading higher, or the more ideal scenario would be us reversing and then inversing something here on this leg and getting shorts from there. So that's really the only thing I was looking forward to. And price just inversed this and then dumped lower. Like, what the fuck is that? So that's clearly a sign that price is going to be on some BS here. So now, at this point in time, I'm not looking for anything. We just edged this low here. We took this low right there, but am I tripping? Oh, that's that low back there. I thought I was marking nothing. Yeah, we just edged that low, and then we don't really get anything. Now, here's a trade that a lot of people took. Here's technically a continuation. I don't know about this. See, we inverse this gap, but it was like to the exact tick, so I don't even know what to count that. But obviously, would never in my life take that. We do have market open high right here, and this is exactly the 930 high. I think we end up sweeping this high as well. Yeah, we sweep all of this right here. And then we get like a 30-second around here, but I mean, dude, that's just not really ideal for me to take. Like I said, especially like seeing how not only the 5 and 15-minute getting inverse to the upside and then reversing back down happened, but we also had, like, way before that, these hourly fair value gaps just inversing and then going to the opposite direction. It just makes no sense. Okay, I can't clarify that enough. I know I've said that multiple times already, but I mean, dude, like, what the fuck? And then we have the same shit happening here where we just close like to the exact tick or like just a tick short of it. And then here we get an inverse to the downside, and this, like, discretionally wise, you can kind of tell, like, all right, we're 100% running lower at this time. There's no more stalling here. We should run all this liquidity here, and we actually do. Boom. But this is just not a great play. Like, look at this, dude. We're just chopping left and right. We swept this high like 10 minutes ago. Why, we should be expecting delivery to the downside. I don't know why it takes 10 minutes for us to end up running back lower, but dude, this just does not look good. We failed to hit this hourly. Wait, maybe ES hit the hourly. Let's see. Maybe ES hit the hourly. We don't even fucking have an hourly on ES. This is just complete dog shit. A lot of people are saying this is A+. Dude, I do not know about this. I mean, if you're rating it on discretion, then yeah, I can see that. But dude, if you're actually applying your analysis, you should know that this shit is not A+. Okay, gaps are not doing what they're supposed to. Fail to hit this, and it's just chalked, right? That's the only play I could see happening here. And we actually gave a long model here. Right here at this 5 minute, and this is another thing to actually point out. Just like the previous trade, my break-even point was right here, right? It's at this high, this internal high. I did not take this, by the way, just to clarify, but if I did, that would have been my break-even point. Targeting this unfilled hourly up here. What do you know? It gets fucking edge and then completely fails. But I kind of knew this was going to be dog anyways, because look at what we're doing here. This holy chop. Took 15 minutes to get the IFEG to the upside. That's just not a good sign. But I mean, if you're looking at this right here, we do reject out of that higher time frame. Let me go on the hourly and show this. That higher time frame low or fair value gap that has low inside of it. We took out all this low resistance. So it only makes sense. But I mean, of course, considering how price was acting the entirety of the session before this trade, it's just, dude, the biggest sign not to take this trade. And I don't even know why I was being open to take this trade. Yeah, that's gonna be it for Monday. Now we have Thursday and Friday, which are actually really, really good days in my opinion. I mean, Friday's debatable. But Thursday was my favorite day by far this week. Let me see. All right, so. Targets, we have an untapped 4 hour all the way up here, which I'm not really going to pay too much mind to. We actually, the main target I was looking for here, this was really, really good target in my opinion. We have this new week opening gap from way back when, back in what, November of 2025, it's like two months ago. We have this, we dragged this actually all the way over here. And then we have this low inside of that new week opening gap, which is pretty much just the low inside of a fair value gap. Trading it the exact same, right? Now you can see we failed to hit this. Failed to hit this new week opening gap. So it's very clear to me that we should be hitting this new week opening gap, right? Like there's no reason we should not be. That's obviously going to be the draw on liquidity for the day. We have this untapped hourly up here, so that's also important to point out. And then if you just go down to the 15 minute, we have an untapped 15 minute just a little bit above that. So go ahead and mark that. And then higher time frame draws to the sell side, we have this low inside of that new week opening gap. And then higher time frame draws, we do have both session highs open. We have quite a bit of low resistance here on the higher time frame up here. Looks really, really nice. And then of course we have that 4 hour that's all the way up there. But ideally, that's a scenario I can see happening, but the main stuff, right, the good stuff that I want to see play out would be, we're in the 15 minute. Okay, let me bring this to market open. All right, so scenario number one, right, let me forget to mark one more thing. Scenario number one, I'd want to see us run up, hit these gaps, hit equilibrium of this range, and then get continuation shorts from there, targeting that level there. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is I want to see us run lower, take this low out, and either enter off a reversal here to target these gaps up there, or wait for a confirmation like a 15-minute IFEG, and then wait for a 5-minute retrace and longs from there. Either of those would have been fine. But those are my two. That's my bullish and my bearish scenario. All right. Now let's get into what happened. Let's play this out. Also, we have this recent low here too. So boom, we take that low out. Huge displacement to the upside. Was not expecting this. This is why I stayed out. Now, before I get into this, actually, let me go back over here and show you something that's important. We have a huge SMT here. All right, this is that SMT we have with ES. If I show you ES, you'll see it very clearly. Wait, am I tripping? Okay, there we go. So ES does not take this low out down here, but NQ does. So that's a huge high time frame SMT. That's really, really important. Also, another reason why I stayed out of this trade was because we failed to hit this low here, which is what did I say? I mean, I literally just went over my key scenarios, but this honestly shouldn't matter considering the displacement we have, the targets we have to the upside. I mean, once we're up here, right, why would I wait for price to hit this to then target this? If we're already this high up and close to these targets, it makes much more sense for us to come up here and then target that failed low. That made much more sense, but of course, my stupid self was not thinking of it at the time. Anyways, you can see we have a 5-minute IFVG right there. This actually happened the same exact time this 1-minute close, so that's awesome. Of course, I wasn't prepared to take this, did not expect this delivery, but stop loss honestly could have just been, to make it align with this hourly, could have been at this right there. You know, maybe 1-to-1, but we do have this 15-minute that we could target, so. Just under this 1-minute IFVG made sense to me, in my opinion. We have huge delivery. There's no reason to give it more room to breathe. We should just run up to these targets, right? Break-even point would be these equal highs. As you can see, we hit the break-even point and then run back lower, but it's just to retrace, so that's always pretty tricky. You never really know if you should go break-even here. I mean, maybe you could have just, like, played it riskier and just not go break-even until this hourly gets hit, but, yeah. So, that's one trade. That's a really good model, in my opinion. Kind of, although it was a break-even, I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I did not take it. Should have been prepared for that. Yeah. So now we tapped into the hourly. Wait for this 15-minute to get tapped into, which we do. And then we just chop up here. Now, this is important because we have 10 a.m. news. Okay, this is Thursday. Tuesday, we had no news. Wednesday, we had 10 a.m. news. And Thursday, we have 10 a.m. JOLTS job openings, red folder news. So that's really, really important. Also, we have an SMT at this 15-minute right there, right? We tap into the hourly on ES, so that's good. I like that we have an SMT at the 15-minute, and we also retrace to equilibrium of this entire range. So we literally hit every single buy side target up here, besides these, of course. But if I'm going to be looking to be bearish, I'm not going to want to see us come all the way up here. So this is really reasonable to come back and retry this level again. This looked so amazing. Now, at the time, maybe I wasn't super clear-headed. I was expecting, I didn't know if we were going to come down to this low or not. My eyes were now set on these targets up here. So I was looking for a continuation, okay? Looking for a continuation. I wanted to see us tap into this 5-minute and then reject out of it, run back up. Now, this is my exact thought process. We were stalling, right? It's right here. What time was this? This was like 5 minutes before 10 a.m. opened and 5 minutes before, 10 a.m. news drop. And at the time, we were looking to form a 15-minute fair value gap. So I wanted to see us wait 10 a.m. news drop. We get manipulation into this 5-minute and then the 15-minute that I was expecting to form, and then get continuations up. But then right here, right, 1 minute before 10 a.m. news drops, we fail to make the 15-minute. The 15-minute's completely gone. It's cooked. There's no way it's getting formed, right? And the 5-minute, we're just way below this bullish 5-minute gap. I doubt we're gonna run up right before just to respect it. So this looks really bearish in my opinion. This whole 1 minute looks bearish. We're inversing these gaps here. The 5 minutes 100% getting inversed. And so at the final seconds, 10 seconds, I get ready to place a short position. Of course, I paper trade this just because I wasn't expecting to get shorts. Also, we had 10 a.m. news. I could not trade with that news between, I think, like a 2 or 4 minute window, something like that. So that sucked. But yeah, clearly showing signs that we're going to inverse this 5-minute, which we do. take a short here, stops like around, I don't know if it's here or here, but one of those. Break even point, I didn't have any break even point because of course it was a paper trade, and then there's just one obvious target. There's really no good break even point. But I did partial here at this low, and then final TP'd at that low that we were originally trying to target. So here's what that trade looked like. Hit the low, and then hit that low. Very good trade. This is honestly my favorite trade of the entire week. This trade was so clean. I really like the Monday or the Tuesday trade that failed, but I feel like this one just made more sense. It was just a continuation model. We're not necessarily expecting a whole reversal here. So I just really like that about this trade. Excuse me. Now, let's see. If you got anything else, let me see. Dude, this is what I like. I didn't get to go into much detail in this trade about like specific detail, like using conditions. Like how at this point in time, how I can either be bullish or bearish. It's always important to have that one condition, which is like, for example, this would be the 5-minute. We either respect this and get continuations up, or we can inverse this and get shorts to the downside. And it's all reliant, being bullish or bearish or going long or short is all depending on this 5-minute. That's why I call it, I guess, like one condition, having that one condition. Because it can go either or, and, it's just, yeah. Enough yapping about that. Let's see what else we get. So here we just chop up, and there's absolutely nothing to look forward to taking here. All right, nothing to take here. All DOLs have been hit, and we hit hitting. All DOLs have been hit. I don't know why I said that. We hit these buy side targets and then sell side, and then we just chop up here. So now, next, the final day, and I'm finally done with this recap. Okay, so of course, again, what do we look like? We're in a bullish trend. I'm gonna start making what's it called for these recaps, like a checklist to do, like what to start off with. Like, of course, we start off with the 15-minute. Obviously looks insanely bullish. Can we determine any targets off the bat? Yes, we can. We have this low resistance up here. You have these highs. This one's already been taken, but yeah, we have these look like our next objectives, considering that we're look super bullish. We can see we tap, like after we reverse, we run back, retest, or not retest, but tap into this gap, get continuations out of there. Excuse me, same thing here. We hit this gap, get continuations out of there. We hit this gap, get continuations out of there. We hit this gap, and market's about to open, so we can expect some type of huge manipulation or a retrace before we run up to these targets. So overall, we look bullish there. Now let's start with the 4-hour. What are we rejecting out of? I actually just went over this because I took data on this. We're not really rejecting out of anything on the 4-hour, but we are rejecting out of the level from the previous day, right? Wait, are we? Or am I'm actually tweaking. What the freak? What did we reject out of? Do we not reject out of anything? I don't know, maybe there's an hourly? I don't know, but it's not obvious to me, so I don't really care. Oh, I think we had a weekly. So we retested this weekly gap, rejected out of there, right? And yeah, that's pretty much all we really need. We at least have one confluence to show what we rejected out of. Like I said, I think I said this earlier in the not in the previous, in this video, just early when it started, that even if we don't reject out of anything like a fair value gap or a sweep, if we're just showing bullish structure, we can just assume we're gonna keep running higher. So now let's just take a look at our targets. If we go on the hourly, we have a very good target. All right, we have this untapped 1 hour right there. 4-hour, I don't think we have anything. We don't have anything on the 4-hour. So that's pretty much on one condition. So I can see, I forgot to mention this right here, this high was also an untapped 4-hour at the time. There you go, you can see that. So we have equilibrium all the way down here. Around right there. Okay. What the freak? Well, I'm just mark it with a tool. Why am I being stupid? So in A plus scenario, I want to see like London get swept, but I mean coming all the way down here just to run all the way back up there seems pretty unreasonable. So looking for equilibrium on this, or in this situation, you know, I would just not advise against it, but I would definitely be a lot more lenient on looking for minor things like that. So scenario number one, the number one thing I want to see happen is us come down, manipulate here, and then, you know, get a model to the upside targeting this unfilled 4 hour, and then maybe this high up there. I mostly my main target I'm looking for is this 4 hour, and yeah, scenario number two, not bullish, bearish scenario would be us coming out to this 4 hour, hitting these levels up here, and then getting shorts to this untapped hourly. That's what I'm gonna be looking for. Now, let me see. If we get into market open, so the 1 minute, whoa, went way too far there. So what happens is we end up running lower. We take this hourly there. We also have an SMT right there, not only with these lows, but also with that hourly unmitigated gap. As you can see, SMT there with ES and NQ, and then SMT right there with ES and NQ. And we just get huge delivery. Again, I was not expecting this type of delivery, so I did not take this. But entry, of course, would have been here. This was a 30-second and a 1 minute close. Stop loss could have been, dude, there's some kid crying their ass off outside. It's pissing me off. Oh my gosh. I'm thinking someone's getting kidnapped. This happens like oh my gosh, all the time. We have a 3 minute and a 4 minute right there. Oh my gosh, this fucking kid. It's gonna piss me off. Screaming like he's getting freaking tortured or something, bro. This is more frustrating than hearing dogs barking, because I always hear this shit every time. Hopefully the video doesn't catch that, because that's so annoying. But yeah, we have a 3 minute right there, and then a 4 minute literally right at the exact same spot, so you can just put your stop loss beneath that. Inverse this gap's here, this gap here. Nothing on the 2 minute, so yeah. Like, you know, you're supposed to trade the higher time frame inverse, so that would be the 3 minute and 4 minute that I would be taking. But considering that we have this huge displacement candle up, this is just a lot of delivery, so there's no need. This is 80 points in one candle. There's no need to wait for this, all right? I was originally supposed to go break even, like around, I don't know, up here at these levels here, but all been taken out. Now, the next place to go break even at would be here. And then we have not really a target, just something to look out for. This is the daily high. It's just a little bit short of this 4 hour, which is our main target. And at the time of entry, if I bring this back here, we can see that ES, let me see, ES's 4 hours right there. So here's ES's 4 hour. At the time of entry, ES already hits the 4 hour. So going, you know how when there's an SMT at the target you're looking for, you would usually just full TP there, or at least partial. In this case, there's literally no way to do that, because this is where you enter at, so that would be stupid. So your only choice is just to wait for this 4 hour to get tapped. And like I said, considering how huge this displacement is here, it's very likely that we're going to run up and we're not just going to project straight down after having this type of candle. End up hitting the break-even point. NQ comes literally, whoa, pause. NQ falls, not comes, falls like 2 ticks short of that 4 hour untapped gap and runs down to break even. So it's not like ES hit the 4 hour and NQ edged it, because ES hit it all the way down here. So you have no choice but to just take this break even here, and then just it runs back up, which is expected, you know. And yeah, just real unfortunate. This is an A+ model though. Great delivery. Exactly what I wanted to see happen. It's unfortunate. I would have liked something more like an entry down here and then get that type of displacement to the upside. But oh my gosh. Like, can you not bring the kid inside, man? Oh my goodness. That's so annoying. Anyways, we get a short here off of this 4 hour, but, you know, considering what I'm recently been, like, thinking about and how I'm upgrading and refining my trading would be, instead of looking for a reversal short off a very low time frame here, I would rather wait for a higher time frame, like a 5 minute or a 15 minute continuation, or not continuation, inverse, and then look for a continuation short from there, like seeing how bullish we look here, right? Not only that, but there's really nothing to target here. There's absolutely nothing to target here. We do have an unfilled 5 minute. I will say we do have that. Unfilled 5 minute. Let me actually mark that. So we could have taken that, but this just immediately fails. I mean, we literally have a high up here. Like, why would we not go and take that before we, get a short? So that's just not even in my mind to take. I did see that, and I saw, like, okay, this could potentially play out, but, I mean, nah. Did not play out. We end up hitting that high, and then we get a short from here, which pretty much the same. The only difference about this trade, I would say, is that this one actually hit this level here, but this looks the exact same as this. So seeing how this failed, I wasn't too sure about this one. There's a great target. Once again, just untapped 5 minute, which I expect to get hit here, and full TB actually gets hit. So like I said, I'm waiting for a 5 or a 15 minute inverse and then looking for continuations. I don't want to just take the first 1 minute IFEG after we just expanded, like, what? How many points are we up? We're up 750 points. Like, taking the first 1 minute IFEG to the downside, very, very risky. So I want to see some type of continuation. And we actually do get that, okay? You can see here, we tap into this 5 minute, or not tap into, we actually inverse the 5 minute. And then we also inverse this 15 minute right there. So that's, it's obviously showing us that, okay, we probably want to run lower. Now, the one thing I don't like about this, okay, there's actually multiple things I don't like about this. So let me actually get into the entry model. Here's the trade, right? We tap into the 5 minute up here. And get a 1 minute IPGs to the downside. Targeting this low here. Break even at this swing low. And yeah, if we look on ES hits that 5 minute as well, and then also hits equilibrium, or more than equilibrium, hits OTE of this small range, taking out this high, making a low time frame SMT right there. And yeah, the reason why this is a really bad trade and I actually avoided this was because, I mean, like I said, the one thing here on NQ that you can kind of tell, why is my screen turning like orange? The one thing you can, make out to not take this trade by just strictly looking on NQ is that this low is a protected low, right? We use this low to manipulate, we tap into an untapped gap, made an SMT. This is protected, so there's no reason to really aim for this. I mean, we do get confirmation that we're bearish here, but yeah. And then the final nail in the coffin would be ES just hit, CE of this entire fair value gap on the 15 minute. Not only that, but we just recently tapped into this 5 minute here, showing absolutely no signs of inversing this. So there's no reason we should be looking for a short here when ES and NQ are telling two different stories, okay? Even if you did take this, if you were delusional enough to think this would work, this did get break even, hitting the swing low, and then ends up running higher. So it was a break even trade, saved you from a loss. But yeah, still a trade that I saw, I did not take, I avoided, and I'm glad I avoided it. Even if it won, dude, this trade is just not good, right? Protected low, no good targets. ES and NQ tell completely two different stories, and yeah, pretty much all I can say for the week. I just realized I deleted all the previous days of reviewing I did, so there's no point in running back and briefly going over it. All we can say is Monday didn't give anything. We gave very, low probable continuations on Monday. Tuesday, we took a loss, completely wrong about the bias, looking for buys, all right, bias, what the fuck? Why am I stuttering so much? Price showed us, right, that we're going to continue lower, and then we didn't even get continuations lower there. We didn't tap into any 5 or 15 minute and give any A+ models there. Wednesday, I completely forgot about Wednesday, not gonna lie. Oh, Wednesday was a bullshit day. Inversing bullish and bearish gaps left and right on the hourly, and then market opens, we inverse the 5 and 15 minute, and then we run lower. There's just nothing to take there, okay? It just looks like an absolute mess. Thursday, what was Thursday again? Let me pull it up on my screen. Luckily, I have Notion pulled up. Are you going to pull up or not? Oh my gosh. Okay, Thursday was the best day by far. We run lower, we tap into new week opening gap, sweeping the recent low. We do, although, fail to hit that low inside of the new week opening gap, but we have huge displacement to the upside, inversing a 5 minute, equal highs as our break even point. I don't think I mentioned that. We have an untapped 1 hour, an untapped 15 minute, an untapped 5 minute that we also tap. That's a bit more scaled down. And then equilibrium of that entire range to target. Oh my gosh, what a beauty of a trade. Ended up getting break even, but still a very good trade. One of the exact things happened that I wanted. And then after that, we're followed with a continuation short. Well, not really a continuation, it's a reversal model, but just on the higher time frame. So we hit the 15 minute, the 30 minute, the 5 minute, the hourly. We have an SMT at the high. We, like I said, hit equilibrium of that range. And then we're just met with the cleanest 5 minute IFEG, great displacement. Trying to retry that low that we failed to hit at market open. That was inside new week opening gap, and we end up hitting that. Best trade. I love that trade. Those two trades that day were both A+ models. I really, really loved it. And then Friday, we're met with another A+ model to start with. We, exact same scenario. We tap into the untapped gap, hourly for value gap. We have the SMT. We have great displacement to the upside, great targets, an untapped 4 hour daily high, and then that internal high. We end up hitting all of that. Of course, this trade hits break even, so it's unfortunate. And then after that, we hit every single target. We already hit the sell side target. We already hit the buy side target. So anything that you're targeting here would be a protected high or a protected low. And not only that, ES and NQ are telling, like I said, this is like the third time I'm saying it, telling two completely different stories. They're uncorrelated. No reason to take this, and just ends up calling it a week. Well, I end up calling it a week here. So, really like what I'm learning here, improving my strategy, and just refining small things. Looking back at my journal, seeing what I can, how I can avoid losses and how I can find more high probable setups more often. And yeah, that's going to be it for this week recap. And I think that's all I have to do for this week. And we'll just wait to see what happens this upcoming week on week 2 of February. So we'll see what happens there. Looking forward to some A+ models after January was giving us some pretty shit stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens there, and peace.